Alright everyone, here's another Paul Morphy game. This game was played in Paris, France, 1859. And Paul Morphy's playing the white pieces against Vincenti Budzinski. I'm hoping I pronounced that name correctly. Morphy opened e4 and Budzinski played e5, knight f3, knight f6. This is the Russian game and classical attack. Knight takes e5, d6, knight back to f3. Now knight takes d4. D4 is played, and d5. This is called the Danish variation of the Russian game. Bishop d3, bishop e7. This is all book. Castle, knight c3, or I'm sorry, knight c6, and now c4. Bishop goes to e6. Probably wasn't the best move. Knight b4 might have been slightly, definitely would have been slightly better here. Then we could go on c takes d5, knight takes d3, queen takes d3, queen takes d5, rook e1, something like this. Bishop f5, queen b3, queen takes, a takes, and it's a perfectly even game. Both sides have chances. But with bishop b6, white indeed has a slight advantage here. Queen goes to b3, and this wasn't the best move here. Just c takes to d5, bishop takes, knight c3, normal developing moves, something like this, which is usually the way in which Morphy plays. So it's a little bit unusual, I think, to see Morphy play queen b3 here. Maybe he's hoping for an early attack. Knight to a5. Just castling here would have been better. If Morphy wants to grab the pawn on b7, that's fine. It wouldn't be a big deal after castling, and then the queen can come to a5 if Morphy chose to take that pawn. But okay, knight to a5 was played. Queen goes to a4 check. c6 is played. Rook to e1. Instead of rook to e1, just c takes d5 again, and it's something like b5, queen to d1, bishop takes d5, and it's fairly even game again. White would have maybe have a slight advantage. Rook to e1, f5. This is a mistake. Again, castling. A common theme in Morphy games that we've all seen by now is Morphy's opponents continuously neglect castling, and they often never get a chance to castle because Morphy starts launching an attack, and before you know it, it's too late and there's no chance of castling. And again, Morphy's opponent here is continuously making pawn moves and neglecting his king's safety. And if he waits too long, he will not get an opportunity to castle. So c takes d5, that's the correct response in this position. Bishop takes, bishop to d2. It's actually slightly stronger, bishop d2 than knight to d2, because when the knight takes, which it will, the knight takes back and protects the other knight on f3. So knight takes, now b5, attacking the queen. Another pawn move. Look at these pawn moves. I guess it might have been correct in this position, but you know, that king, look at the king, stuck in the center of the board and probably never get a chance to castle. It's an excellent one. Queen goes to c2. g6 was played. You got to protect that pawn now. And rook takes e7. I don't know if that was the best move in this position. White has a significant advantage here positionally, but a4 might have been slightly better. This would put black in a tough position. Rook takes, it's okay, but if black makes the best moves here, best responses, then I'm not sure it's that great of an advantage or worth the exchange. King takes, of course. Rook to e1 check, king to f7. King to f6 here would have been a slightly better defense. King goes to f7. Bishop takes f5, and this is the reason why king to f6 might have been slightly better, because it wouldn't allow this sacrifice. And now g takes f5. This is a mistake. 2 pawns for the bishop, getting the queen in there. This is devastating. The king should have just moved over to g7, except that you lost a pawn. I mean, you did gain the exchange here, right? Rook for a bishop. If you had to give back a pawn, what's the big deal for your king's safety? But well, Budzinski's a little bit greedy here. He grabs the pawn, and of course, queen takes f5 check. Queen to f6. This isn't going to work. Again, king to g7. That was the move. Queen to f6 doesn't work because, well, knight e5 check. King doesn't have really anywhere to go except for g7 now. But here the problem is queen goes to g4 with check. And, well, I mean, the king is running out of moves. The king goes to h6. Well, at this point it doesn't matter too much where the king goes. Black is lost in this position. Rook goes to e3. We all know where the rook is heading for checkmate. Bishop grabs g2. Doesn't accomplish much. Morphy takes back with the king. Rook h to g8. Rook to h3 check. And here black resigned because mate is coming in one move. So, beautiful game. Only 24 moves. It wasn't a checkmate, but it's mate in one. So, excellent game. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care.